Welcome everybody, and here we have the latest news on Bryan Kohberger and Idaho murders, and it's a lot of emotions, a lot of questions. And let's pick CNN, and what we can see on CNN, it says that the documents are showing officials matched DNA from trash recovered at the Kohberger family home in Pennsylvania to a 10-lever knife sheath found on one of the victims' beds. So right now we can say that his DNA is linked to all the murders, and then we can see that the suspect's phone was pinpointed at least 12 times between June 22 and present day. And that's interesting. That's really interesting because it means he was maybe watching them. I think they want to show us this case as someone who premeditated this killings. And one interesting thing is that I was thinking that if he was watching these kids and wanted to kill them, then he should have known that in that house there was more than just the four of them, that there are actually 6 people living there. So I was wondering, if he wanted to do a mass killing, why would he leave 2 of them alive? Maybe I don't know, maybe he was thinking about it, or maybe it was just a coincidence going there. I don't know, maybe he was at one of their parties. But to me, if it's like he's thinking to do a mass murder, he probably would kill all 6 of them. It's interesting to find out what explanation he has if he is proven guilty. Until then, we know he's just a suspect because the court didn't declare him guilty yet. Also, a strange thing was to me that he received a new license plate. I mean, let's think about it. Who changes their license plate? Like, I understand if it was a customized plate, if anyone does a customized plate, but we don't know exactly what type of plate he had. I mean, maybe it wasn't a customizable. Otherwise, I don't understand the reason behind changing the plates. And then this was interesting too, that after the killings and the same day, his cell phone was pinpointed to the location of the house where the kids were killed, between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21. So interesting to know why was his phone there. And then it shows at 9:32 a.m. he was back to his residence. So that means 9:21, 9:32, about 15 minutes, maybe 13 if he drove faster, or maybe slower. So that it's interesting as well. And then I found one interesting thing for me, where it says that the roommate saw the killer, and she says that he was dressed in dark with a mask covering his nose, but she could see his bushy eyebrows. So it's interesting. That's interesting to me too, that she could do that. And also what is interesting to me, that she saw all this at 4 a.m. and she was scared because he was going towards her, and then he left and she locked herself in the bedroom. And my questions to her is that why she didn't call 911. I'm not saying that she's related to the crimes. I'm not saying anything, and God forbid to be in such a position. It's probably terrifying. We don't know how scared she got, what happened, but it's a very interesting question to know why she didn't call police until like 8 hours later. And I'm not sure if even she was the one who called the police. So for me, it's interesting to know all these questions. I want to see how it develops. I want to know more about it. If I was thinking before that maybe somehow this is just a coincidence, and at the moment I'm like leaning towards that there's too many things linking him to these murders, and I cannot wait to hear how this case will develop. And I'm sorry for all the victims and their parents. It must be very hard for them, and I'm sorry for his parents if he did it, because that's going to be very hard for them too. I I don't have words and how to say and what to say about this case other than I wish nobody goes through something like this. We will have kids and imagining that they are going to go to school or even to grocery stores, and then someone like these type of people would just hurt them. It's unbelievable. It's also very hard to comprehend how a person who is so working so hard for his PhD now and does such a, I don't know, an inexplicable move. It's very hard to understand. But he was fascinated by crime. He wanted to work on this, and maybe he didn't find anyone who would answer his questions in his Reddit survey, and maybe that was the motive why he wanted to actually go through this and feel it, and I don't know, maybe explain it. But that again is not going to do too much for the career or for the criminology, because one person's feelings in such moments doesn't define the others who commit crimes. So anyways, thank you for listening, and I hope we get a better development soon.